The color-coded itinerary should have been my first clue. My wife Zara had never organized anything more complex than a grocery list, yet here she was, crafting a Miami vacation schedule that would make a military logistics officer weep with envy. Pink highlighter for beach time, yellow for shopping, blue for restaurants. Every hour accounted for, every detail perfect. Too perfect. I sat in my cluttered home office at 11:30 p.m., nursing a beer and staring at the printed pages she'd left scattered across our kitchen counter. Nathan Brooks, 34 years old, owner of Brooks Auto Repair, and apparently the world's most oblivious husband. At least, that's what Zara thought. "You still up, honey?" Her voice drifted down from our bedroom, sweet as artificial vanilla. "Just going over some invoices," I called back, which wasn't entirely a lie. I was going over something, just not auto shop paperwork. The Miami trip had been brewing for 3 months. "Girls' weekend with Linda," she'd announced one February evening, her eyes bright with excitement. "We both need a break from this dreary New England winter." Linda Martinez, Zara's college roommate turned Instagram influencer, made a living posting bikini photos and promoting teeth-whitening products, the kind of friend who measured her worth in likes and comments. They'd been planning this escape to South Beach like it was a military operation. But military operations don't usually require 3 different lingerie sets for a 4-day trip. I'd noticed the Victoria's Secret bags appearing in our bedroom closet. When I'd jokingly asked if she was planning to seduce the Miami nightlife, she'd laughed and said Linda insisted they dress to impress, for the fancy hotel pool. Right, because hotel pools are famous for their strict dress codes. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend and head mechanic, Paul Kowalski. "You sure you're okay with Zara's Miami adventure? My ex tried that girls' trip routine once. Spoiler alert, it wasn't just girls." I'd brushed off Paul's concern at the time, but now, staring at Zara's obsessively detailed itinerary, his words echoed in my mind. The schedule showed restaurant reservations for 2 people, not the group of girlfriends she'd described. Hotel spa appointments booked for couples treatments. Even the flight information seemed off. She'd booked a window seat, but Zara hated flying by windows. She always chose aisle seats. The house creaked as she moved around upstairs, probably packing her 3rd suitcase, for a 4-day trip, to visit beaches and shops. I pulled up our shared email account on my laptop. Zara had insisted on joint finances and shared accounts when we got married 5 years ago. "No secrets between us," she'd said, linking everything from bank accounts to Gmail. It was sweet then. Now it felt like evidence. The hotel confirmation sat in our inbox, dated 3 weeks ago. Fontainebleau, Miami Beach, Ocean View Suite, April 15th, 18. Booked for 2 guests, Zara Brooks and Eric Hall. Eric Hall. The name hit me like a wrench to the gut. Zara's college boyfriend, the smooth-talking marketing executive who'd broken her heart senior year by choosing a job in Miami over their relationship. She'd cried for weeks, sworn she'd never forgive him, moved back home to our small Connecticut town, and eventually met me at Murphy's Bar during a particularly pathetic karaoke night. I'd been her rebound. Apparently, I was about to become her intermission. My fingers moved across the keyboard, searching our email history. There it was, buried in a folder labeled Travel Deals, months of correspondence between Zara and Eric. The early messages were innocent enough. A LinkedIn reconnection, casual catching up, shared memories of college. But by January, the tone had shifted. "Can't stop thinking about our conversation," Eric had written. "Maybe it's time we finished what we started." Zara's reply made my stomach turn. "I've been thinking the same thing. This trip can't come soon enough." I screenshotted everything, my hands surprisingly steady. 23 messages total, spanning 4 months. The progression from friendly to flirtatious to explicitly intimate was documented in painful detail. By March, they were exchanging photos that definitely weren't suitable for LinkedIn. The bedroom floorboards groaned overhead. Zara was probably trying on outfits, making sure she looked perfect for her reunion with Mr. Miami marketing executive. I opened a new browser tab and navigated to our cell phone account. Another benefit of shared finances, I could access all our phone records. Zara's call history for the past month showed daily conversations with a Miami area code, always late at night, always when she thought I was asleep. The pieces assembled themselves into a picture so clear it was almost artistic. My wife of 5 years had rekindled her college romance and was planning a 4-day intimate vacation disguised as a girls' trip. She'd lied about Linda coming along. A quick Facebook check showed Linda posting from Los Angeles all week, attending some influencer conference. I should have felt angry, betrayed, devastated. Instead, I felt something much more dangerous. Calm. Zara thought she was playing chess while I played checkers. She had no idea I'd just figured out the entire board. The next morning arrived with the artificial cheerfulness of a sitcom. Zara bounced around our kitchen, humming while she made coffee, practically glowing with anticipation. She'd chosen her travel outfit carefully: designer jeans that hugged her curves, a silk blouse that suggested wealth and availability, jewelry that caught the morning light. "Flight's at 2:30, she announced, checking her phone for the 100th time. "Linda's picking me up at noon." I nodded from behind my newspaper, playing the role of the dutiful, oblivious husband. "Drive safe. Text me when you land." "Of course, baby." She leaned down to kiss my forehead, her perfume expensive and unfamiliar. "I'll miss you." The lie rolled off her tongue like honey, sweet, smooth, and completely artificial. After she disappeared upstairs to finish packing, I made my own preparations. The beauty of shared accounts worked both ways. I had access to everything, including the ability to make changes. First, I logged into the airline website using our confirmation number. Zara's return flight, scheduled for Monday evening, was easily accessible. One click moved her to the cancellation page. Another click requested a full refund due to family emergency. The airline's automated system processed the change immediately, sending a confirmation to our shared email. Next, our joint credit cards. As the primary account holder, I could add or remove authorized users at will. I removed Zara from all 3 cards, effective immediately. The bank's customer service representative was sympathetic when I explained my wife had lost her wallet and we needed to secure the accounts until replacement cards arrived. "She'll need to apply for new cards in her own name," the representative explained. "These changes are immediate." "Perfect," I said, and meant it. My phone rang as I was updating our bank account access. Paul's name flashed on the screen. "Brooks Auto Repair," I answered, keeping my voice professional. "It's me, you idiot. You sound weird. Everything okay?" I glanced toward the stairs, listening for Zara's movements. "Just handling some business. What's up?" "Mrs. Henderson's Toyota is making that grinding noise again. I think she's been ignoring the brake replacement we recommended. Charge her for the full service this time. Some people need to learn lessons the hard way." Paul was quiet for a moment. "You sure you're talking about Mrs. Henderson?" My best friend knew me too well. "I'll be at the shop later. We'll talk then." "Nathan, whatever you're planning—" "I'm not planning anything," I interrupted. "I'm just making sure people get exactly what they deserve." By 11:30, I'd systematically dismantled every safety net Zara thought she had. No return flight, no credit cards, no easy access to our joint accounts. She'd have her debit card with about $400 available, enough for airport food, not enough for last-minute flights home. I also sent a carefully worded email to her father, Miguel Santos. Zara's dad was old-school Mexican-American, a man who believed in family honor and marital commitment. The email was simple. "Miguel, I need to discuss something important about Zara. Can you call me this evening? It's urgent." The front door slammed at exactly noon. Through our living room window, I watched Zara load her excessive luggage into a yellow taxi, not Linda's car, as she'd claimed. Another lie to add to the collection. She waved goodbye from the back seat, blowing me a kiss through the window. I waved back, smiling. She had no idea she'd just waved goodbye to her entire life. At the auto shop, Paul was waiting with questions written all over his face. We'd known each other since high school, worked together for 8 years. He could read my moods better than a meteorologist reads storm clouds. "Spill it," he said without preamble, wiping his hands on a greasy rag. I told him everything. The emails, the phone records, the fake girls' trip, Eric Hall. Paul listened without interruption, his expression growing darker with each detail. Jesus Christ, Nathan. I'm sorry, man. I really hoped I was wrong about the Miami thing. You weren't wrong. You were exactly right. So what's the plan? Divorce lawyer? Private investigator? I shook my head. Something better, something she'll never see coming. Paul raised an eyebrow. I don't like that look. That's your, I'm about to do something incredibly stupid look. Not stupid. Strategic. I pulled out my phone, showing him the canceled flight confirmation. She thinks she's flying high. She's about to learn about gravity. Nathan, whatever you're thinking. She made her choice, Paul. She chose to lie to me for months, to plan this elaborate betrayal, to make me look like an idiot. Now she gets to live with the consequences. My phone buzzed with a text from Zara. Boarding now, love you. I showed the message to Paul, who winced. That's cold, even for a cheating wife. Cold doesn't begin to cover it, I replied, typing back. Have fun. Can't wait to hear all about your trip. Every word was true. I genuinely couldn't wait to hear how she'd explain this disaster. Zara's first text from Miami arrived at 6:47 p.m. Landed safely. Hotel is gorgeous. I was having dinner with Miguel Santos at Romano's, our town's only decent Italian restaurant. Zara's father sat across from me, his weathered hands folded around a coffee cup, his expression growing more serious as I explained the situation. You're certain about this? Miguel asked for the third time. Completely certain? I slid my phone across the table, showing him the email evidence. Miguel's English was perfect, but he read slowly, carefully, the way he approached everything in life. His jaw tightened with each message. Eric Hall, he said finally. She mentioned him once years ago. Said he was a mistake from college. Apparently she's ready to repeat that mistake. Miguel was quiet for a long moment, staring at his coffee. Her mother would be ashamed, he said finally. Maria raised Zara to honor her commitments, to respect her marriage. Zara's mother had died 3 years ago. Cancer. I'd held Zara while she cried at the funeral, promised to love and support her through the grief. Apparently, my support had an expiration date. What do you want me to do? Miguel asked. Just be ready for her call. She's going to need help getting home, and she's going to have a lot of explaining to do. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Zara. Room service dinner with Linda? This place is amazing. I showed Miguel the message. Linda's in Los Angeles this week. I checked. Miguel's face hardened. Show me the hotel reservation again. I pulled up the email confirmation. Miguel studied it carefully, noting every detail. Eric Hall, he repeated. Room for 2 guests. I'm sorry, Miguel. I know this isn't easy to hear about your daughter. My daughter made her choice, he said firmly. Now she lives with it. We finished dinner in relative silence, 2 men bound by betrayal and the uncomfortable mathematics of revenge. Miguel hugged me goodbye in the parking lot, a gesture that felt like an alliance being formed. Call me when she reaches out, he said. I'll be ready. At home, I made my final preparations. I changed the locks on our house, a simple task when you've spent 15 years working with tools. The old keys went into my toolbox, the new ones onto my key ring. I packed Zara's belongings into boxes, nothing damaged or destroyed, just efficiently sorted and sealed. Her laptop, her jewelry, her clothes, her books, everything organized and ready for pickup. I wasn't cruel enough to throw her possessions away, but I wasn't foolish enough to leave them accessible either. The house felt different with her things boxed up. Cleaner, more honest. My phone rang at 11:23 p.m. Zara's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 11:26, again at 11:31. By midnight, she'd called 8 times. I finally answered on the 9th call. "Nathan, thank God. Something's wrong with the hotel reservation." Her voice was tight with panic, the confident excitement from earlier completely gone. "What kind of wrong?" I asked, settling into my recliner with a beer. "They're saying my return flight is canceled. The airline website shows it was canceled this afternoon, but I never canceled anything, and my credit cards aren't working." "That's strange," I said, injecting just enough concern into my voice to sound believable. "Did you call the credit card company?" "I tried. They said I'm not an authorized user anymore. Nathan, what's happening?" "I have no idea, honey. Maybe it's some kind of computer glitch." "A glitch that canceled my flight and my credit cards at the same time?" Her voice was rising, attracting attention in whatever Miami hotel lobby she was calling from. "This can't be a coincidence." "You're probably right," I agreed. "Maybe someone stole your identity? You should call the police." "The police? Nathan, I need to get home. Can you book me a new flight?" "Of course. Let me check flights tomorrow morning. Maybe you can extend your vacation an extra day." "I don't want to extend anything. I want to come home." Okay, calm down. We'll figure this out." "Don't tell me to calm down," she snapped. "I'm stuck in Miami with no way home and no money." "What about Linda? Can't she help?" Long pause. Linda had to leave early, family emergency. Another lie, delivered with practiced ease even in crisis. Some habits die hard. "That's terrible," I said. "Well, I'm sure we can sort this out tomorrow. Try to get some sleep." "Sleep? Nathan, I'm stuck in a hotel lobby with no credit cards and a canceled flight. How am I supposed to sleep?" "I don't know, honey. Maybe Eric can help you figure something out." The silence that followed was beautiful. Complete, perfect silence. "What did you say?" she whispered. "I said maybe Eric can help. Eric Hall, your college boyfriend, the one you're sharing a room with." Another perfect silence. "Nathan, I can explain." "I'm sure you can. You've gotten very good at explaining things, like explaining why you needed 3 lingerie sets for a girls' trip, or why Linda was picking you up when she's actually in Los Angeles, or why your hotel reservation shows 2 guests instead of the group of girlfriends you described. You went through my email." Her voice was flat now, the panic replaced by something harder. "Our email, our shared account, our shared everything, remember? No secrets between us." "Nathan, please. Let me come home and we can talk about this." "Oh, you're definitely coming home. Eventually. When you can afford to. But first, you get to enjoy your romantic Miami getaway with Eric. I hope it's everything you dreamed it would be." I hung up. She called back immediately. I turned off the phone. The next morning brought a series of increasingly desperate voicemails. I listened to them over coffee, marveling at the progression from anger to bargaining to outright panic. "Nathan, this is insane. You can't just strand me here. Okay, I deserve this, but please just let me come home so we can work things out." "My dad isn't answering his phone. Did you call my dad?" "Nathan, please. I'm sorry. I made a mistake, but this is crazy." "Eric left. He said this was too much drama. I'm alone here with no money and no flight home." That last message almost made me smile. Eric Hall, the smooth-talking marketing executive, had apparently discovered that real-life consequences weren't as appealing as fantasy affairs. When faced with a genuinely stranded woman and a clearly angry husband, he'd chosen the coward's exit. Paul arrived at the shop early, carrying coffee and wearing his "I told you so" expression. "Heard from the missus?" he asked, settling into the office chair across from my desk. "Several times. She's having some travel difficulties." "Travel difficulties? That's what we're calling it? I played him the voicemails. Paul's expression shifted from amusement to concern as Zara's voice grew more desperate. Nathan, she sounds pretty scared. She should be scared. She's learning what happens when you make stupid choices. Okay, but maybe this is enough? You've made your point. I looked at my best friend, this man who'd stood beside me through every major moment of my adult life. Paul, she planned this for months. She lied to me every single day. She made me look like an idiot in front of our entire town. And even now, even caught red-handed, she's still lying. Did you hear her explain Linda's early departure as a family emergency? Paul was quiet for a moment. So what's next? Next, she calls her father. As if summoned by my words, my phone rang. Miguel Santos. She called, he said without preamble. Crying, begging for money to get home. What did you tell her? I told her I received some very interesting emails yesterday. I told her we would discuss her situation when she figures out how to get home on her own. How did she react? She hung up on me. Miguel's voice carried a note of sadness beneath the anger. My own daughter hung up on me when I asked her to explain her behavior. I'm sorry, Miguel. Don't be sorry. Be ready. She'll probably try to call friends next, maybe co-workers. This situation is about to become very public. Miguel was right. Over the next few hours, I received calls from 3 different people asking about Zara's emergency in Miami. Her version of events was creative. A mugging that left her without identification or credit cards, a hotel mix-up that canceled her reservations, a series of unfortunate coincidences that had left her stranded. Each caller received the same response. That's terrible. I hope she figures it out soon. By evening, Zara had apparently exhausted her list of potential rescuers. My phone rang at 7:15 p.m., her name flashing on the screen for the first time since our midnight conversation. Nathan. Her voice was different now, smaller, defeated. Hi, honey. How's Miami? You know how Miami is. You've made sure of that. I haven't made sure of anything. I'm just a small-town auto mechanic. I don't have the power to cancel flights or freeze credit cards. Cut the bullshit, Nathan. We both know what you did. What I did, I went to work, came home, had dinner with your father. You know, normal married person activities. What did you do? Long pause. I made a mistake. A mistake. That's what we're calling a 4-month affair and an elaborate deception? It wasn't an affair. Nothing happened. Yet. Nathan, please, I need to come home. And I need a wife who doesn't lie to me for months at a time. Looks like we're both disappointed. What do you want? What will it take for you to help me get home? I want you to tell me the truth. All of it. No more lies, no more creative explanations. Just the truth. Another long pause. I've been talking to Eric since December. It started innocent, just catching up, but it became more. I missed what we had in college. I missed feeling young and exciting and desired. And I don't make you feel desired. You make me feel safe, comfortable, but not passionate. The honesty was brutal and refreshing. So you decided to have a passionate weekend in Miami. I decided to see if there was still something between us, if maybe I'd made the wrong choice 5 years ago. And what did you discover? I discovered that Eric is still the same selfish asshole he was in college. When things got complicated, he ran, left me in the hotel lobby and drove back to his condo. Sounds like you learned something valuable about passion versus stability. Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely, completely sorry. I made a terrible mistake and I want to come home and fix this. How are you planning to get home? I don't know. I've called everyone I can think of. I have about $200 left. Not enough for a last-minute flight. What about your new credit cards? The ones you applied for after your wallet was stolen? Silence. She'd realized I knew about her conversation with the credit card company. those will take 7 to 10 business days," she said quietly. "That's a long time to spend in Miami with $200. Nathan, please. I know I don't deserve help, but I'm asking anyway. I want to come home to you. And I want a wife who doesn't plan secret vacations with her ex-boyfriend. But we don't always get what we want, do we?" I hung up. This time, she didn't call back. Zara made it home on Thursday evening, 3 days later than originally planned. I watched from our living room window as a battered taxi pulled into our driveway. She emerged slowly, moving like someone who'd aged years in a week. The Miami tan she'd planned to show off was replaced by exhaustion. Her designer travel outfit was wrinkled and stained. She looked like exactly what she was, a woman who'd made terrible choices and lived with the consequences. She tried her key in the front door. It didn't work, of course. She tried again, then knocked. I opened the door, but didn't step aside. "Hi, honey, how was your trip?" "Nathan, please. Can we do this inside?" "Actually, I think the porch is perfect for this conversation. Very public, very honest. Isn't honesty what we're working on now?" She glanced around nervously. Mrs. Chen from next door was watering her garden, clearly listening. The Kowalski kids were playing basketball across the street, their game suspiciously quiet. "Fine," Zara said. "We'll do this here." "Great. So tell me about Miami. Did you enjoy the Fontainebleau? Was the ocean view suite everything you hoped for?" "You know what happened in Miami. I know what you told me on the phone. But you've been telling me lots of things lately, and most of them were lies. So let's try again. What happened in Miami?" Zara looked at the boxes stacked neatly beside our front door, her belongings, organized and waiting. "You packed my things." "I organized your things. There's a difference. Nathan, I know I hurt you. I know I made terrible choices. But we've been married for 5 years. Doesn't that count for something?" It counted for something. It counted for 5 years of me trusting you, supporting you, building a life with you. What did it count for on your end? It counted for everything until I got confused and made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This was a choice. Multiple choices made over months designed to deceive me. Mrs. Chen had abandoned all pretense of gardening and was openly watching now. The Kowalski kids had given up on basketball entirely. "Can we please go inside?" Zara asked. "This is humiliating." "Humiliating," I repeated. "That's an interesting word choice. How do you think I felt when I discovered my wife was planning an intimate vacation with her ex-boyfriend?" "I wasn't planning a vacation." "No? What were you planning? A spiritual retreat? A business conference?" Zara's composure finally cracked. "Fine. Yes, okay? I was planning to sleep with Eric. I was planning to see if what we had was real or just nostalgia. I was planning to figure out if I married the wrong person. Are you happy now?" The neighborhood had gone completely quiet. Even the Kowalski dog had stopped barking. "I'm not happy," I said. "But I am satisfied. Finally, some honesty. So what happens now? Do I get to come inside and pack more things? Do we try counseling? Do you file for divorce? What? What happens now is you figure out your own life. You wanted to see if you'd made the wrong choice 5 years ago. Congratulations, you have your answer. Nathan, I chose you. I came home to you. You came home because Eric abandoned you and you had nowhere else to go. That's not choosing me. That's settling for me." Zara started crying then, real tears that smeared her makeup and made her look younger and more vulnerable. "Please don't do this. Please don't throw away 5 years because I made one mistake. One mistake that took 4 months to plan and required dozens of lies to execute. I'll do anything to fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. What I want is a wife who doesn't lie to me. What I want is a partner who doesn't plan elaborate betrayals. What I want is someone who chooses me first, not as a backup plan when her real choice doesn't work out." I stepped back into the house. Your things are packed. Your father knows the whole story. The locks are changed. Figure out the rest yourself. Nathan, wait. I closed the door. She knocked for 20 minutes. Then she called my phone, sitting on our front porch, crying into her cell phone while I watched from the living room window. The neighbors had retreated inside, but I could see curtains twitching in every house on the block. Finally, she loaded her boxes into the same battered taxi that had brought her home. I watched her leave for the second time in a week, but this departure felt different. Final. My phone rang an hour later. Miguel Santos. She's here, he said, crying in my kitchen, asking me to talk sense into you. What did you tell her? I told her that a man who spends 4 months lying to her husband and planning to cheat on him needs to find her own sense before she worries about anyone else's. How did she react? She's still crying. But Nathan, she's my daughter. I can't throw her out. I'm not asking you to throw her out, Miguel. I'm just asking you not to expect me to take her back. I understand. You're a good man, Nathan. You deserved better than this. I thought I had better than this. You did for a while. People change sometimes, not always for the better. After I hung up, I sat in my living room now, not ours, and tried to process the events of the past week. The house felt different without Zara's presence, quieter, but not empty. Clean in a way that had nothing to do with housekeeping. I'd married Zara because she was beautiful and smart and made me laugh. I'd built a life with her because I thought we wanted the same things: stability, partnership, honesty. I'd been wrong about what she wanted, but I hadn't been wrong about what I wanted. And what I wanted was someone who chose me first, every time, without question. Zara had made her choice in December when she started talking to Eric. She'd made it again in January when their conversations turned romantic. She'd made it every day for 4 months while planning her Miami adventure. Now, I'd made mine. My phone buzzed with a text from Paul. Heard through the grapevine that Zara's back. You okay? I typed back, better than okay, free. Want to grab a beer and talk about it? Tomorrow. Tonight I'm enjoying the quiet. And I was. For the first time in months, maybe years, my house felt like home instead of a stage where I performed the role of the oblivious husband. No more wondering why Zara seemed distracted. No more second-guessing her explanations for late nights and mysterious phone calls. No more lies. I opened a beer and settled into my recliner, remote control in hand. For the first time in 5 years, I could watch whatever I wanted without negotiating or compromising. It was a small freedom, but it felt enormous.